Going back to the champs. Wow. You want to talk about Bruce Arians, Jason Light putting on an absolute clinic. And Arians at the parade said, we're going for two. So think about it. Tom Brady restructured and re-signed his contract and got another year tacked on. Gronk is back. Godwin's back. Shaq Barrett, which was priority number one, keeping that defense together, that pass rush together. He's back. Levante David is back. Ryan Suckup is back. And now Ndamukong Suh. By the way, with Suh, who was phenomenal for them on defense, always important to keep him highly motivated. I mean, that front seven was amazing. A lot of reasons why that Tampa Bay could be even better this year, more dominant this year. I mean, this is excellent news if you're a fan of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That is a great organization doing big-time things, committed to winning a championship, unlike, the Green Bay Packers. The team that was the biggest loser in NFL free agency, that's the Scheinbox question today. Can't wait to see how you guys fill in the blank. Still a couple of minutes to get some eye-popping tweets into the conversation. Bob Stew's going to read the best tweets coming up in a little bit. Zach in Canada, our good friends. Next on Sports.
Hey, Adam. First-time caller, long-time listener. Just calling, wondering what the hell the Raiders are doing. What are they doing? Like, I assume that John Gruden and Mike Mayock know what they're doing, but maybe I assume wrong.
Listen, you definitely assumed wrong, and I assumed wrong. And Gruden has been a nightmare. He's got full autonomy, final say. Mayock is phenomenal. I'm a big Mike Mayock fan, but, free agency in 2019 was a bust. Draft, Cleveland Farrell, that never made any sense. I love the Jacobs pick,
why didn't we take Devin White?
Yeah, there's so much there, right? These were first guesses. Ruggs was a terrible pick, first guess. The Ohio State corner was rated as, Arnett was rated as a second-round pick. Took him at 19, 20, whatever you did last year in the first round. It was a horrendous.
He was only good because of the Jeff Okudah. Jeff Okudah made him good.
It was a terrible pick. It was a terrible pick. It was awful.
They just keep doing it and doing it and doing it.
And this offseason, what transpired with the offensive line, they torpedoed the strength of the team. Rodney Hudson, it makes
totally
no sense.
I understand getting rid of Trent Brown. Obviously, we didn't totally need him. But, Gabe Jackson and Rodney Hudson, what? Who's left?
Makes no sense, Zach. I feel bad for you, for Raider Nation. I feel bad for everyone in America, everyone in Canada. I feel bad for Derek Carr losing the pass protection, Josh Jacobs losing the Hogs up front. It's awful. And, shame of it is, I like the Yannick Ngakoue signing. I thought that was perfect. I thought that was needed. Just awful. A brutal offseason here when you look at it for the Raiders. I'm sure we'll get a lot of results in the Scheinbox question saying that they were the biggest losers this offseason. Brad in Connecticut, our good friend. Next on Sports.
Hey, Adam. Long-time listener, first-time caller. How you doing this morning?
Hey, Brad. A lot of first-timers today. I love it. What's on your mind?
Hey, big Saints fan here in Connecticut. Obviously, we had a pretty rough offseason like the Raiders. Losing Drew Brees isn't the easiest thing to do. But we also caught a lot of big key holes on defense. Janoris Jenkins, although not the best corner, a good number 2 corner. Lost Trey Hendrickson to the Ravens. Good thing for him. He got paid. Lost Sheldon Rankins. A lot of holes to fill. Even K1 Alexander is a big hole to fill as second linebacker to Demario Davis. So just wondering your opinion on what exactly you think the season's going to look like for the New Orleans Saints, given we got a lot of holes to fill now.
I love this take because you tied in a couple of players on defense that maybe the average fan doesn't know how integral these guys were for your football team. Look, I think the Saints are going to still be a really good team. You got nothing literally out of Michael Thomas last year. Sean Payton is a Hall of Fame coach. I think Jameis Winston is going to be a great player. First of all, and Jameis met the media yesterday, I don't want to hear about Taysom Hill. I don't want to hear about it. Jameis Winston should be the starter. Let him lead. I think Sean Payton can really coach him up. I'm banking on Sean Payton here. Winston obviously has a golden arm. He could throw touchdowns. The problem in Tampa, he failed in terms of the pressure being the number 1 overall pick and the franchise savior, and he was throwing too many interceptions. I think Sean Payton's going to help him dramatically. I think you can still make the playoffs. Brad, I'm going to take you a step further. And Drew Brees had just a remarkable career. You could make the case, and I have. He was the most important free agent signing, best free agent signing in the history of sports. When you consider what the team was, what the city was after Hurricane Katrina, I think if you're looking at 2020, Winston's an upgrade. No one wants to say that out loud because of the respect level for Drew Brees. Jameis Winston could be an upgrade. I think he will be. I just think they have to make him the guy.
Yeah, I think going into camp, that competition that Peyton's really kind of pushing for both of them, I think Jameis is going to come out on the winning end of that. You don't just take a guy who's thrown for 5,000 yards, which only a handful of quarterbacks have ever done in their career, Drew Brees being one of them who's done it multiple times, and you don't just put him in a backup role to learn for a year and don't expect him to be something out of the gate. You know what I mean? I don't think they would have signed Jameis Winston knowing that he wasn't going to be their guy going forward, because I think Taysom Hill, although I love him as a gadget guy, every time he's on the field, it's electrifying and it's fun to watch. He's just not a good quarterback. Starting and playing 4 games and not even throwing a touchdown in a pass-heavy offense type of league, that's not really something that is going to be something that's going to make the playoffs or make the Saints a playoff team, which is why I'm really excited for what Jameis is going to really pull forward for us. But, we also have that question mark where it's like, yeah, Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara, they're both elite weapons on the field. But what's going to happen when those guys are covered or when they're hurt? It's like our offense really suffers because of that.
Listen, Brad, you know your stuff. I am. Don't be a one-time caller. This was an excellent first-time telephone call. This was a great call, and I think Winston can be great. I'm not even throwing that word around. And certainly an upgrade over the 2020 version of Drew Brees. That was a great telephone call. Michael in the OC, our good friend. Next on Sports.
Adam, happy Wednesday to you.
Michael, it is so good to hear your voice, my friend. What's cooking in your world?
Oh, Adam, listen, Leonard Hamilton, that was incredial. I love this guy. He is fantastic. I've always admired what he's done. He's coaching in that difficult conference against Krzyzewski and Williams. Adam, he holds his own, but more importantly, he has the right approach. He's everything right about college basketball. He's trying to develop the young men. You know what? We lose sight of this, Adam, because it's such a business in a sense, right? You got to win. If you win, you're out. It's such a straddling thing in college sports. Mick Cronin does it. Leonard does it. Other guys do it. You're trying to win, but you're trying to also develop these guys for the long-term success, because most of these guys aren't going to play professional ball. And he has a very important job. And I just admire him. I just admire the heck out of him. He's just terrific.
Michael, I really appreciate the nice words on the interview, and it means the world. And I agree with you on Leonard Hamilton completely. And I think that Leonard Hamilton is a gem. I think he's one of the best in the business. And I still can't believe what happened last year, society, but just talking sports in terms of COVID and the pandemic. And, Leonard Hamilton had a great opportunity to have his team cut down the nets. And, and I've said this about your program, about my program, UCLA, Syracuse, making the Sweet 16 is a big deal. And we talked about this in the past with regards to, Ben Howland or Steve Lavin and having a little perspective. I cite the numbers for Boeheim in the Sweet 16, talked to him about that on Monday. And Leonard didn't want to take the bait on that. For him, it's about that elusive championship. And he liked the fact that the kids and the players didn't really even celebrate after making the Sweet 16. And he wants that singular focus. I've such respect for Hamilton, specifically what he did at Miami and now Florida State, literally building those programs from scratch. And I think the world of what he's done. He is a sensational Hall of Fame basketball coach.
Leonard, Adam, you touched on Mick Cronin. And I heard something about Mick. I think he might have said it in the interview the other day. UCLA couldn't practice over the summer because of the COVID restrictions in California. He didn't even get his team together until, I don't know when, October, where other programs were kind of getting together. Mick could not get the guys together, and that goes for Enfield, too. I give him credit. So what he's been able to do in such a short time, and like we talked about, withstand, it's pretty incredible, to bring them all together. And he's just another guy, too. He just is trying to develop these guys. And he just has a certain sense about him. He knows the history. He has the respect. He has the cachet. It's just a great hire for UCLA, as far as I'm concerned. I'm so glad it didn't happen with Rick Barnes or Jamie Dixon or whoever else was thrown in there for that matter.
Rick Barnes would have been a disaster. My Rick Barnes rants, don't always get the attention of the Bill Self rants, but it's basically the same. Yeah, you remember that whole scenario of the Rick Barnes trying to hold UCLA hostage? Like, move on. Don't hire Rick Barnes. It's a bad hire if he would work for free. Yeah, you are lucky that it worked out, Michael, and appreciate the call with the great Mick Cronin. Jason in West Virginia, our good friend. Next on Sports.
Hey, good afternoon, Adam.
What's up, Jay? Always a pleasure. What's cooking?
I just called to talk about those Detroit Lions. I think, while they might not have had the best free agency, I think they've done some good things with picking up Charles Harris, giving him, another chance. And, I think just by them not overspending on Kenny Golladay, we're not going to be a playoff team, and to pay this dude for a big bunch of millions for the next 3 years, for nothing. So I think they're kind of like focusing on the right things. And I think, Sheila Hamp, she has really stepped up as a Detroit owner. It's something that we haven't seen, since the Fords took over, and, and that's letting, putting the right people in the right positions to make those good decisions for us. So, I think the Detroit Stafford trade, Chris Harris picking up Jamal Williams, I think those are key. I think that's good, positive competitiveness, and, it's better than us doing what we normally do, is overspending on talents that we really don't need at certain positions.
Listen, I think you are making an excellent point. And I think that, first of all, it starts without question here with the choice for general manager, and it starts with the choice for the head coach. And I like the Brad Holmes selection. I like the Dan Campbell selection. I like the staff Dan Campbell put together. I like what he did with Aaron Glenn and with Deuce Staley and with Anthony Lynn. And, I like Jared Goff's attitude, and I like what he's brought to the table. And, they're clearly rebuilding. And they're doing it right. And they're not trying to just, put a Band-Aid on something that needed monumental surgery like prior regimes. They know what they have. They know what they don't have. They're going to have a long-range view. They're not also going to make sure they're not pushovers in these games. Jared Goff and Dan Campbell will make sure of that. So I think if you're a Lions fan, stressing the positive is actually the right and the only way to go. I can't wait to get the responses to the Schein Box question. The team that was the biggest loser in NFL free agency was blank and why. The poll question, will the Lakers make the playoffs without LeBron and Anthony Davis? We'll get all those results right after a guy who's always a winner in our book, the great Dan Lang, and the